This week on Cruisin', presented by Cruisin' Times Magazine, we talk about road conditions.
The potholes are just ridiculous.
Road crews are on the case. How often has this happened to you?
Mattress is in the middle of the highway.
Now that's something you don't see every day. We make a stop at DEI and Avon for the Tire Rack One Lap of America, presented by Grassroots Motorsports Magazine. Talk about predicting the future.
Told my wife I'm coming back with the 57 Chevy next year, and I did.
I hope she was just as happy as you are.
Yes.
Plus,
this is an actual car that was used in the movie Fast and the Furious 5.
Cruisin' goes Hollywood. What do you tell people that have never seen Cruisin'?
We either dismiss them or we really show them what it has.
Well, let's show them what it has. Cruisin', presented by Cruisin' Times Magazine, starts now. Welcome to Cruisin'. I'm John Shapiro, publisher of Cruisin' Times Magazine. Today we're going to do two stops. One at Design Engineering in Avon for the One Lap of America. These guys are crazy. They go 3,200 miles in 8 days. Then we're going to be off to Cortland, Ohio for the Quaker Steak and Lube Saturday afternoon cruise. Let's get started.
Well, I was in the first Cannonball years ago, and Brock ran 5 of them. And the car started getting a little bit too fast, and he started worrying that everything that he proved by doing the Cannonballs was in jeopardy. So he killed the Cannonball, and then he thought for a while and said, well, let's drive around the country and have some fun. And the original premise was the 10 grand lap of America, which was actually going to be a race. But again, with the Cannonball was done, and let's do a rally. Back in those days, the SCCA thought that any street car that hit a racetrack would spontaneously explode. And, you know, you needed full race cars and race car gear. And well, about 1989, Hal at a little racetrack in Oklahoma, we got an okay to run an event on the track. And that permission was pushed to a full race and at speed, and nobody died, and everybody had a great time, and that kind of the modern era of the One Lap was born. And now in 8 days, we'll visit 9 racetracks around the country and drive 3,500 miles. And it's pretty simple. It's a lot of intensity because there's whatever you do on the racetrack is timed. We've been to 90 racetracks around the country over the course of the last 30 years. Next year, I have no idea where we'll go.
Normally you see race cars with trailers or in trailers.
Right.
You are on, it's street legal, you're on the road.
Yep, I take my kids to school in this car, you know, so, and then, you know, I go out there on the racetrack at Daytona and do 200 miles with it, you know, 200 miles an hour with it. So that's a big difference in reference to, you know, NASCAR or other race cars that are dedicated for that. This event, basically, it tests everything that your vehicle has, from tires to brakes to, you know, and the longevity of the car. Can it handle the beating that you give it for an entire week? And then make those long transit drives.
Some state I don't even know, and I was going along, I had an ambulance to my left, and going along and going around a corner, and sure enough, on the right side, hit a mattress that's in the middle of the highway. So at the time, I didn't notice anything different, checked tire pressures, they're all still good. When we stopped to get gas, maybe 100 miles later, we noticed the side there was pulled out. So throw some zip ties on there, duct tape on there, and you know, away we went. That night we ended up in New Jersey at about 3 o'clock in the morning, which is always fun. And you know, these are all roads that we've never been on. Going through Washington, 95 was completely shut down, which I don't know how you shut down 95, but it was shut down. So you know, you just kind of roll with it and do your best that you can, and hopefully you got a little luck to go with that.
And then your baggage is
Stuffed as much as we can into the back of it. Some people bring little trailers that they tow, but that kind of slows us down for our transit drives. Yeah. So we want to kind of get there, you know, obviously at a reasonable hour. The more sleep you can get, the more alert you are the next day, because we went from Atlanta to New Jersey and it was like a 12.5-hour run, you know, so we got in at like 3 in the morning, and then we were back at the track ready to go at 8 a.m. So you got to get up and prep your car, get the fluids going, get all that stuff done. So.
In Japan, this car is known as being Godzilla. It dominates pretty much all racing in Japan, and that's what they call it.
It's just a big group of great people getting together, car enthusiasts that want to come out and showcase their ability and have a little fun doing it.
Well, I started out when I was 13. I got into quarter midgets, doing circle track racing, and really I met a lot of great people who have helped me along the way, and that's really the only way I've been able to do this, meeting the right people, giving me opportunities to race their cars. There's several classes. We're running the SS GT1 Big Bore, and that's the biggest class. There's a lot of competitors. They also have an econo class for economy cars. There's a four-door sedan class. There's even sometimes when Priuses run, they'll run a hybrid class. So there's a lot of different classes, so not everybody is running directly with everybody else. And we've had some great weather this time. I think the worst thing now is the roads. Here up north, the winter was so bad, the potholes are just ridiculous. So we're having a lot of dodging potholes this year. At the wheels, we're putting out around 700 horsepower from this car. It's not completely stock. Lingenfelter's done some work to it, so we're putting some good power down. When we can put it down, it's a lot of fun.
Now, sometimes you take interstates, sometimes you don't?
We do, yeah. Sometimes we'll travel the interstates, but like the transit up here to DEI, we're on interstate for a few miles, and there's some back roads, and that can get fun. We saw a few Amish carriages on the way up here, things like that. So we see a lot of interesting countryside.
Any horse patties or?
One or two, yeah. Luckily we missed them though.
Let's visit Cruise In Marketplace. Portage Trim Custom Interiors. When you're ready for the best, visit their website, portagetrim.com, or call 1-330-296-5511. Cyclone Transmissions for street machines, hot rods, and everyday drivers. Call Rich at 330-639-1137. Ultimate Headers. Big tubes for tight places. The last set of headers you'll ever have to buy using 321 stainless. UltimateHeaders.com. Call 440-234-9600. If you'd like to be a part of Cruise In Marketplace, give us a call. Call 330-697-4155 or email Mark now. info@cruisin.tv. Coming up next.
Had this happen on track, the car would have been totaled, and it would have risked the lives of myself and my co-driver.
Find out what nearly ended their run next on Cruise In, presented by Cruisin' Times Magazine. Now, back to DEI and Avon for the One Lap of America on Cruise In, presented by Cruisin' Times Magazine. So anything interesting happened on, I hear that something interesting happened on the way from Georgia to New Jersey.
So we ran Atlanta Motorsports, I believe it was Tuesday morning. From there we traveled up to South Carolina to run at the BMW Performance Center. We decided at that point to stop at our home shop in Sterling, Virginia, because we were having a few issues with the car. It wasn't running the way we want. So we got there, put the car up on a lift, and I looked it over and noticed that the left rear brake rotor was completely cracked. It was on the verge of absolute disintegration. Had this happened on track, the car would have been totaled, and it would have risked the lives of myself and my co-driver. So we spent the next 2 hours. By the way, we didn't get in there until about 1 o'clock in the morning. We spent the next 2 hours scrounging around between 1 o'clock and 3 o'clock in the morning, calling everybody we knew to locate a brake rotor, and we couldn't find one. So we said, the heck with it, we're going to drive to New Jersey. Lucas got us set up with one of their friends, and they were able to get the car fixed and back on the road by about 8:15, and we were able to make the track event at 9:30. We placed 7th overall in the morning, then 7th again in the afternoon, and if it wasn't for RRT and Lucas Auto Group, that was not going to happen.
My favorite track it's actually not a racetrack. It's the BMW Performance Center. It's a little road course down in South Carolina, and I finished 4th overall. And that track is fast, second, third gear corners, and actually I was 3rd overall.
Well, my guys have a relationship with Brock Yates that goes back years. And when they found out that they were coming down I-90, they decided to make a pit stop since we're right off I-90, and it made perfect sense to stop by. So it just worked out famously. And we did the same thing 3 years ago. Their route just happened to take them right by the building, so they made the stop in. We like to feed them and make sure that they're hydrated, and they're on the road a lot. They've been doing this for 7 days. They're tired. We provided different essentials in the restroom if they needed to freshen up. So we tried to give them the things we thought they might need, from being on the road for 7 straight days. It's just a natural for us. We love the guys coming here. They're all very grateful for what we provide. And it's funny, through the years, they all stop in at the shows, whether it be SEMA or PRI. The guys stop in and they're like, we stopped by your place and you guys treated us like gold. It's just nice to hear.
When Cruise In returns, we're heading out to Quaker Steak and Lube in Cortland. Stay tuned. Now back to Cruise In, presented by Cruisin' Times Magazine.
This is a 63 Buick Skylark convertible. Skylarks first got their start in '53, and then in '54 was the last year for that, and then they picked them up later and started the Skylark series again.
Then you had, how long you had it?
I've had this lady here about 4 years now. I had a '56 Chevy Bel Air. We had to get rid of the 56, and I just ran across the Buick in a parking lot. And I was on my way back from my mother's funeral, and I said, there's my car. I called the guy. He had his phone number, pardon me. He had his phone number posted in the front seat, so I called him, talked to him about it. He goes, you just bought a Buick.
Any special features on this?
It's just full power steering, and which is something rare anymore. No, nothing. It's got the old conventional brakes. You got to crank the windows down, like that. The top is almost brand new. It's got a brand new motor in it. Yeah, the top is some of them were cranked on. This one's electric.
Tell us about the interesting pinstriping. It looks like...
He put it on, and I said, I never knew one of these. I had one of these. He said, no, I put it on.
But they're flames.
Yeah. They're kind of like a flame, yeah. Yeah, kind of like a flame.
You're a big Mustang guy. You remember the Mahoning Valley Mustang Club?
Yes, I am.
And how many Mustangs have you had in your life?
5 so far.
Everybody likes personalized plates. Where did you get BB6057?
I went to Canfield Swap Meet one day, and I said, well, let me look at some plates, see if I can find any. Put 69. Well, the first ones I found was 69, had BB on them.
Tell us about your car.
It's a 69 Mark I, came out of Texas. I think it spent the whole time in Texas, so the guy brought it back, and he had it sit for like 4 years and decided to sell it, so I went and looked at it and bought it.
You got a 351 Windsor?
351 Windsor in it, 4-speed. It's all stock. Holley carburetor on it. But everything's on this car is stock except for the headers.
Same interior? You ever done anything?
Same interior. I had guys check it out to read store cars. They said all the body panels never been touched.
And then this color, tell me the color.
This is Gulfstream Aqua. They only made it in 1968 and 69. They only made it for 2 years.
Hi, I'm Mike, but this is not my garage. Today, as I had said, we are not in my garage. That's because today I decided to go visit a few friends of mine, Gary and Tricia Krause from Ravenna, Ohio at Mongoose Motorsports. And pretty much the heart of Mongoose Motorsports, what they deal in is Grand Sport Corvette replicas. Now, what I'd like to talk a little bit about today is choosing your next project. And maybe it's your next, maybe it's your first. When you have to really put some thought behind the process that goes through your head when you decide what you're going to spend your money on. And that's why I came over here to Mongoose because at Mongoose Motorsports, even though they build some really nice replica Grand Sport Corvettes, they also do a whole lot of anything that has to do with 4 wheels, 2 wheels, go fast, anything. You have to think about this when you're thinking about your next project, because as this behind us, which is a Gasser Corvette built by Mongoose, and I think plain and simple the way this got going was, well, Gary said, hey, I've got these vet bodies that I build and all these kits, and I got this big crazy motor with a big old blower. Well, what can we do to put them two together and kind of make something different? Now, are you going to do something like that? Well, let's face it. Are you going to go and build something with this crazy motor, solid front axle? Well, it's not the most practical thing. You might use it a couple times a year unless you get into one of those drag race places where they invite you to, hey, come to our Gasser reunions, and which some of the local tracks do have. This is kind of the extreme. Being an extreme, let's face it, it's pretty cool. So think about things when you pick your project. A kit that you could do a lot of the work yourself. Buy a kit. A Grand Sport kit could come to you with a frame, a suspension, wheels, no engine, an engine, no interior, an interior, and Mongoose could put that together for you, or you could put together whatever you want to do. But you have to think about a few things. Practicality. Wild, crazy, not very practical. Or you can go with a very mild car. You could actually go with, for instance, a drivable kit car like their Fast 5 movie car. This is an actual car that was used in the movie Fast and the Furious 5. Part of this, it's a Roadster Grand Sport replica car, done. This was actually used in the movie, but you gotta remember, okay, no top. Well, they sell a hardtop version also, and you could get that. But then again, you have to consider, okay, is this something that I'm gonna drive a lot? They're gonna make a lot of noise, they're gonna draw a lot of attention. Maybe you just wanna get into a muscle car, a standard, good old car that you had back in high school. Think about every aspect before you're gonna spend your hard-earned money on what kind of car you wanna build. Sometimes if you're looking at a pre-built car, let's say you want a 70 Charger. Well, send somebody that knows what they're looking out to buy that car. Don't get involved sometimes in emotions. Emotions can sometimes get you in trouble. If you don't know what you're looking for, you'll overlook some of those problems and those flaws that most a professional would pick up. You want to make sure when you're purchasing this big investment in your life that there's good reasoning behind it. This has been Mike's Garage, outside of Mike's Garage, at Mongoose Motorsports in Ravenna, Ohio. And we will see you next week.
Coming up next.
You know, you go to these shows and you meet a lot of nice people that have some great cars.
We've always known that. More Cruise In, presented by Cruisin' Times Magazine, after this. Welcome back to Quaker Steak and Lube in Cortland, Ohio on Cruise In, presented by Cruisin' Times Magazine. 57 Chevy 4-door. It's probably one of the best looking 4-doors I've ever seen. I love it. Where did you get it?
I bought that car in Biloxi, Mississippi, cruising the Coast Car Show. I fly down there with a friend there, and about 3 years I was there and told my wife, I'm coming back with the 57 Chevy next year, and I did. Cruised the coast for 5 days, loaded the car on his trailer and took it back. We went to Austintown, Quaker Steak and Lube.
That was his first outing?
Yes, cruising is a lot of fun. See a lot of people that you know, you go to these shows and you meet a lot of nice people that have some great cars.
57 Chevy, why'd you choose it?
Well, I was in high school in 1960. I had a 56 Chevrolet Ballot, red and white, 2-door hardtop. And I always wanted a 57 Chevrolet, but I just didn't do it. I was lucky to have the 56 being in high school. So anyway, the day come, I finally found the 57 that that I run across, I was really looking for a two-door hardtop, but there's not many four-door hardtops around, so it's just different. And when I do go to the different shows, people are amazed that they see a four-door hardtop.
Well, tell me about restoration. Is it the original paint?
Oh, the car's been completely restored. It was off-frame restoration, so the undercarriage is better than brand new. And it has stainless steel exhaust. It has disc brakes, halogen headlights, LED taillights. It's just a very good running car. 350 engine board out, and a little bit of chrome under the hood there, and it's just been amazing that I run across this car. Top end, it's pretty fast. I've had it up to about 130, and some people say, oh, there ain't no way. I said, look at my speedometer, it says 160, so it's got all new gauges.
You know, it's funny that you said, how fast were you going?
130.
I think you're a candidate for the Cannonball Sea to Shining Sea Memorial Trophy Dash.
Oh yeah, well, yeah, that could be, but anyway, the car does run really good, and it cruises pretty nice. You know, 70 mile an hour, 1,800 RPMs, about 18 miles to the gallon if you're easy on it.
Hey, who cares about gas mileage when you got...
Well, I'm not worried about that. Just have fun cruising.
Well, that puts a wrap on another show. We'll see you next week. But you know, as the weather gets better, go to a car show or a cruising near you. You can check our listings out on cruisintimesmagazine.com. We'll see you next week. I'm off to another cruise.